Okay. We will move to agenda item number 4, department head reports. The first one is the police department, Chief Miller.
Keith Miller. Please.
Hello, council. So, as of right now, we have one officer, Officer Bradford. He's going to be getting off our FTO after this week. So next week he'll be ghost, and he'll be out on his own. And so we're very excited about Officer Bradford. Other than that, we need cameras. No, just joking.
Let's see what we can do on that agenda.
It's on tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, but other than that, that's pretty much all I got right now. So, okay.
Okay, next we have Public Works, Mr. Kelly.
Mayor, council, one of the things that I really need to start focusing on without being disturbed. Okay, I know we done hired people to do the parks and all of this. We do have cutting still need to be done. But my thing is, I know most of y'all are focused on, hey, when is Mr. Kelly gonna finish cleaning the ditches out? When is Mr. Kelly gonna do this here? But when you disturb me, pull me off of one job, I don't have but 5 people from the jump street. 5, okay? When we clean the ditches, 3 of those people is over there. And then myself, y'all always see me working just hard as my guys working. What I'm asking for is, in this next budget coming up, maybe Public Works, when I started, they was working with 11 people. Now I'm down to 5. So I want y'all to take that into consideration when budget season comes. I understand me and the mayor interviewed one person, which I think was a good idea, and I'm hoping it work out. Everything work out good. And I'm gonna go from there and try to move forward. Somebody that I've been looking for with CDL's license. I just want to bring that to y'all attention. Y'all have any questions for me?
Anything else?
Mr. Kelly, so you said you had 11. Did you feel,
When I started to work at Public Works, it was 11 people working out there.
did you feel that 11 would be the appropriate number, or was there a lesser number there, or a greater number that you felt would be appropriate?
Well, one of the problems, I'm going on, I'm finna get to you, what you asked me. One of the problems, you get what you pay for. Okay?
Gotcha.
A lot of companies now is really paying the people that I feel like the city needs. Me and the mayor sat down there with this gentleman, we did the best that I feel like we can do. And if he accepted, he accepted. If not, I got to keep doing the same thing what I'm doing, jumping on machine to machine. I know some of y'all see me sometime, wondering why I don't answer my phone, because when I'm operating a machine, safety come first.
That's right.
You know, I just want everybody to realize, I don't want to hear about, okay, well, Kelly got a phone, he got to sit the phone, he ain't answering it, and all of this shit. I do call back. I don't know what matter the time, but that's it. Now, back to you. The proper number for Public Works for me right now is experienced people. Experienced people that what I'm looking for. Because if I hire a guy and say he's an operator, he can do this here, and then I still have to get up on the machine, he ain't experienced. That's why I give them 90 days. That's what the handbook say. If they don't work out in 90 days, I'm looking for the next person. I hate to be like this, but it is what it is. Any more questions?
But do you feel like you need one more person, 2 more people?
Well, I was gonna wait and put it in this next budget. I was gonna ask the council for it. I think that's the proper time to ask.
So if they were experienced and all of your current staff was adequately experienced as well, one additional person in a perfect world, like if you found the greatest candidate, one more person, two more.
Yeah, experienced person. That's why I can have a couple of things going on at one time, instead of just digging.
Probably two more if they were properly experienced.
Yeah.
Which would justify the pay, so then we know what to look at with budget. Is that what you're asking?
And council
Exactly.
and mayor, I just want to say this to y'all. Y'all doing a great job. And I said this for a reason, because I know other people listening. They're gonna say, look at Kelly. I said it for a reason. Y'all done?
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Okay, next we have municipal court, Ms. Sherry Branch.
So, court's going good. My new court clerk, Fabiola, she just went to the juvenile case manager school this past week. Right now, Zuli Moreno is the juvenile case manager, but I would like to bump up Fabiola as a juvenile case manager, because Zuli has so many jobs. She's wishing to not work here, only when necessarily needed. So she went to that school, she's being trained on that. And then I have my court administrator school coming up next week. And I also have Fabiola working on her level 1 certification, which I support 100% in education. I wish she would go all the way to level 3, because the more education you have with court, the more you understand with how the court runs. So right now the court is running good. We are still taking each day as it goes, but we're doing good.
How's our online payments doing?
The online payments, they're doing good still, but we have more people calling in just wanting to pay by phone than what we are anything else, or money orders at the window.
Y'all are telling the people in court that they can call.
Yes, we have both written down. You're welcome.
I will say this, I sent an email earlier today to Linebarger, and if y'all remember council, about a year ago, alarm bells were being
Sounded
raised
quite
pretty
loud.
hard and pretty loud. And I simply said, I just want to check in with all of y'all to determine if everybody's comfortable with the direction we're going with the courts department. I received the May report, but I want to facilitate a check-in with all parties to determine if we're comfortable with the direction we're heading with the courts department, or if there are any issues or concerns that we can address. And Ms. Battle came back, CCing Richard Hill and the remaining staff there, that said, thank you for the team check-in. Everything's moving along seamlessly from our standpoint at Linebarger. No issues or concerns to report. Sherry and Fabiola have been doing a fantastic job. We couldn't ask for a better team to be working with. And then an unrelated, yes, props to y'all. Then an unrelated conversation with a city near us. Miss Brandt's name kind of came up in that conversation, and they said, well, I don't know how y'all landed her, but good job on that. So, thank y'all.
Pat yourself on the back.
Nice job.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have Mayor Branch. Mayor Branch doesn't have much to report besides we're working hard to improve everything that's going on, moving on forward to increase the beautification of the city and trying to get more employees. That's about the best I can say. Okay. Let's skip to Agenda item number 20. And number 20 is approving resolution 1462, authorizing the purchase of a metal detector to be paid for under municipal court security fund.
I'd ask Ms. Branner, the judge, if they'd like to come up and speak on this. The only denotation I would make is whoever makes the motion, this should be purchased out of the technology fund. So, just so y'all are aware.
Can I speak on this? In surrounding cities, they already have a metal detector, even the city of Katy. So I feel it's in the best interest for the building to have a metal detector based upon security and feeling safe whenever we come to court. With our date and time, you never know who's gonna walk in this building, and I feel like a metal detector would help with the security issue, even in city council or even court, if it's placed right outside to where they can scan everyone that comes in. And we will feel more safer up here with the judge and the prosecutor and myself, to where we can be safe.
You want my comments?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Judge, we would love to.
Okay. When all this law, the security took place, it had to do with a district judge by the name of Kucerik, or Kucerak, how you want to say it. She was assaulted at her entrance gate to her house by a fella that had some charges of narcotics charges with her and attempted to kill her. And she sustained some serious wounds, and in fact, this blew off some of her fingers. But she survived, and the legislature took legislation about court security, all judges. There was some controversy, and it had to do the court and areas utilized by the court. Well, it wasn't exactly clear, because what's utilized by the court, I mean, we're walking between our office through the foyer into the courtroom. Well, is that utilized? Well, I don't know. But anyhow, you can go to the capital state of police, state of Texas, and if you have a license to carry, you go right on in. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's not a court. So all these places that had courts and city halls or county deal, they were all using the same place. So Waller County was challenged by somebody, and the law said that the Attorney General had the job of, if any county or city denied people that could come into these areas, that they could fine the cities or county for violating that law. Well, Waller County was challenged on that. Well, and I'm not privy to the exact things that happened, but in the end, Waller County went forth that they didn't really look at the law as far as open carry or things like that. They looked deeper and they came up with, well, you got to post a sign of 3006 and a 3007. They said that was no good as far as having weapons in a particular government entity. And they took the position of, forget it, you can't bring it in. And don't hold me to the particulars exactly because I didn't follow it, but Waller County prevailed. So we don't, in all Waller County business entities or buildings, we don't have a 3006 or 3007. And I'm sorry, you have to look that up. It's about carrying, businesses have to do that. But in government, they took the position, no, you can't. And Waller County prevailed. So in the end, we're not allowing any type of weapon into any Waller County building. And I think it would be up to council to decide what you want to do. Because, like I said, the state capitol, you go up there and you have a license to carry, you show it, they swipe it. You have a weapon on you, you go on in. Okay? That's the way they want to do it. It would probably be up to council to decide what you want to do. In the law, as far as security of the court, you have to have a committee. And I don't know, we don't have that committee. We never just put it together as far as a security committee for the court. Probably my fault because everything's been running fine. I don't like bureaucracy, okay? And probably it was my position to create that. And it's, so probably I need to look back into the law and we need to form that committee. I think it involves the judge, the police chief, city council member, and go from there. All right? There at this Precinct 4 building, we do have a metal detector, okay? Right now, we're just using it as entrance to the court when we have trials or hearings.
So you're saying it's portable?
It's got wheels on it. You can move it around, whatever you want to do with it. Okay. Any officer that provides security for the court has to obtain a certification that is taught or approved by the OT close. What is it now?
Eco.
Okay. All right, they're supposed to take that training, okay? And, of course, we had a death as far as security, Officer Dennis, and we're doing fine. We had no incidents of anything to threaten the court, per se. You know, sometimes things don't go the way that people want, but we hadn't had anything that has been a threat to the court, okay? Especially because of the security that we've had. But we probably need to make sure that any officer that provides security to court has that certification, okay? And of that nature, all right, and if anything does happen, the law requires that any incident that is considered a threat to the court reported to the Office of Court Administration in Austin, who is a clearinghouse for all courts in the state. Municipal justice, county court, district, court of appeals, all the way up to Supreme Court. They're just a kind of nucleus of anything that happened. So maybe we need some type of metal detector, I would suppose. Where you want to put it, I think would be a decision between the council and the security committee that we need to set up. Okay? That thing is rather expensive, I think. And I think the use of it, and even the security wand, has to have a certification. That's TCO. That's their deal, and I understand that. But it comes to being what's utilized by the court. And so you got to make up the idea, if we have no court in session, can anybody go in and conduct city business? Okay? Right now, as far as the Waller County deal, Waller County has prevailed. But it could be appealed by the state. I don't care. That's not my deal. My job is to make sure that justice is performed fairly and equally as far as the city of Brookshire is concerned. And of course, I'm a justice of the peace and over there. Anything above that, well, I'm not going to get into it because nobody's probably going to care. But I don't know. I feel safe here. But I'm not, as part-time judge, I'm not here all the time as far as your clerk and whatever. Generally, in justice and municipal court, we deal with people that they're law-abiding citizens. For whatever happens, they're at the wrong place at the wrong time, that do something on a minor level, and they get caught, okay? And your police do a wonderful job as far as those type of violations. So I think we're pretty good. There's nothing wrong by considering some better security for the whole city administration. Okay, and I can give you an example. Not too long ago, there in Pattison, and our office was still there. There was a person that was shooting at cars. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember that, but that person had been around a couple days, and really nobody paid attention, I guess. I don't know where she got that weapon, but she could have easily gone in to my justice court and shot everybody in there. Luckily, it didn't happen, okay? And she was taken down by a young man that really affected him terribly, but he did the right thing, okay? And luckily, she didn't really, the only person that really got hurt was her, okay? And you never know what's out there that can bite you. You try to do the best you can to foresee anything. So let's think about it. Let's put together that security committee, and we'll come visit with the council and then decide what y'all want to do. How much is one of those? I don't know. We have one there in Justice Court. I don't know what the cost of that thing is. I'm sure it's not cheap.
I know it's not.
Okay.
Have we we don't have any research on those costs at this point?
I do, it's about 5,000.
I was say 5,500 and
Yeah,
5,300.
about 5,000, 5,500. Like he was saying, it is rollable. You can move it anywhere. When we don't have court, you can move it out. It's completely up to the city council how y'all want to do that, but it's about 5,500.
So I guess the more
Ones that
important,
schools use, they roll
Yeah.
them in and roll them out.
the more important question to me is that we want to pay for these out of these funds from the courts. Is that funding available as far as you know?
Available at this time, yes.
And it is restricted funds.
It is
Yeah, they're
restricted, so it
restricted
has to be
funds.
approved by city council.
Right, but they are available. It's in the budget as far as we know.
Mhm.
Right. We collect it. It goes into a special fund. You decide how to spend it. Okay? We can come to you and ask for certain things. I like that.
Judge, not
It's
to
probably a good idea. It's probably a good idea to do it in some nature, okay? Where, you know, after the court is adjourned, y'all don't have really any kind of security, do you? As far as your folks working the city hall. You might decide you want to invest in some more type of, well, there at my office on 90, we have glass that is supposed to be bullet resistance. Costs a lot of money. However, when you're building a new building, we put it in there. The rest of some of the county buildings don't have it. As I can't speak for the commissioner's court or the county judge, but I'm sure as things prevail, you know, they're talking about a new courthouse. All that stuff will be included. It's just, you know what? It's sad. It's just the times that we're in right now.
So at this point, would your recommendation be that we would consider approving this, or would you prefer to get your committee together, look at all of your needs, and then come back with another different proposal?
I would, you're right. Let's look at this. Let's put this committee together as far as what we're supposed to have, okay? And we can do that pretty quick and then come back real quick to the council, and y'all decide what you want to do. We'll have a recommendation.
Okay.
Okay?
Well,
How about that?
would you also make in your recommendation where it could be used for all of City Hall? Where
Okay.
it would like to,
My answer to that is, let me go to the district attorney and ask him where he got his
I was asking-
understanding. And then you, as city council, who's your, Olson and Olson?
yeah.
You ask your legal, okay? So with the court, the council, and the understanding of that, I think we can come out to a good decision.
Judge, her
Okay.
question was related to location.
Well,
Of the metal
that's what
detector.
we will do after we kind of get together. Okay, what do we need to do as far as that location? Okay?
So do we need to table this? Do we need to just
How-
ignore it and let him come back
How
later?
quickly could you get your security
Next week,
put together?
We could
I will
table
put
till
it
next
together
week.
next
Would
week.
you,
I will put it together next week.
But does council have to formally vote on this committee?
You
Or is this just
probably
an
do.
ad hoc committee?
Okay. I regret, because I believe there is a council member that has a seat on that committee. Probably the council would have to decide who they want. It would not be up to the committee to pick somebody, okay? So we're talking about maybe 2 or 3 weeks delay, okay?
Could it be something where we request nominations for that committee and then council can approve it?
The committees that we have now, Ms. Neuendorf is, since we have a 29 item agenda, I don't want to go too far into the committees that we have, but it seems to be a big problem when we pick people.
That's what I'm saying. So is it something to where he could provide nominations, we just approve it and then he can move on and
I think that would
I think, yeah, okay.
be in the best interest.
I don't like any of you, so why don't
That
Fine by
works
me.
even better.
That works even better.
No, I tell you what, y'all really done a good job lately, and I appreciate it. Yeah, you can't. So when I go to schools and that kind of stuff, so many municipal judges complain about council getting into the court's business, and I have had nothing. At no time had any counsel getting into the court's business with me or the prosecutor or whatever. And we have a new court secretary there. I got to tell you, it was a mess, and it still is a mess. And it's got. We're working on it. Okay.
Could you have it done by not the next council meeting, which is
The mess?
July 1st or 2nd?
July 6th,
Could
Yes.
you have it done by the
20th.
Absolutely.
20th.
Yeah. Tell the chief he's going to be on the committee.
He knows.
Chief, you're gonna be on.
He already
Yes,
knows.
he's going to be on the committee.
What's the date for that?
July
July
20th.
20th.
Could you have
The
it done
next
by
cult-
July 20th?
The next meeting?
No,
The
she
next one
is,
is
she
the
said not
6th.
July 6th, but if you could have it ready by July 20th. So
you got
2 meetings from now.
That'll give you a chance to get your committee together, have some discussions, and come back with a completed
Absolutely.
recommendation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'd like to make that motion, Mayor, that we table this and it be put on the, tell me the date one more time.
July 20th.
July 20th.
July 20th agenda, please.
Second.
All right.
Sorry, Mr. Hill, I took over.
Council, I appreciate y'all. Y'all. Anyhow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be. He was earlier.
Justin,
Need to vote.
John.
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Uh,
You're so quiet, I just wanted to make sure you hadn't
Ms.
fell
Taylor?
asleep.
Oh,
4.
I hadn't fallen asleep.
Mr. Bacanelli
4.
and Mr. Hill.
4.
Okay, motion carries. July or June?
We're going back up now?
July.
Okay. Now, next item we're going to go to is agenda item number 27, which is executive session. The city council will meet in a closed session pursuant to Title 5, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for the purpose of, if this time of the last, ask everyone to leave the room, and we'll call y'all back.
Oh, nah, we got critters over here. We got critters over here.
Fish and bait. Okay, camera, later.
We use shrimp and stuff.
Crickets and catch you a nice catfish.
Going fishing where?
It was a cricket.
I said where?
Oh, she talking to her, not
The
me.
flooded ditches. Oh.
We go to Matagorda, but
We got
careful.
crawfish in our ditch.
We do too, 'cause we
Yeah, I know.
got fresh, clear water in our ditch.
Did you? Oh, from a busted pipe. That pipe's been busted a little bit. Did you see that crawfish pile is like this tall over there by the Empire West?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah. I'm like, they're a big old fat crawfish. Big little piece of bacon.
that's not enough. You gonna be mad fooling with them 4 crawfish you gonna get out there.
I know, 4 crawfish. Called the appetizer. I'll make a little single bowl of bisque.
I was just told Hannah to.
We're not there yet. Okay, Mayor.
Okay, we back.
Agenda item number 8.
Now we're going to agenda item number 8. Approving the extension by a private retail developer of Auto Street from its current location to a proposed intersection, I-10 frontage road.
I make a motion, we direct the mayor to enter into an MOU for an Auto Street proposed project.
Second.
Ms. Nuendo,
4.
Ms. Taylor,
4.
and Ms. Branch.
4.
Okay, motion carries. You got it.
Thank you.
Sorry y'all had to stay all day with us.
Thank you.
Have a good night. What was that?
Memorandum of understanding, MOU.
You don't want any more snacks?
I'm gonna start bringing the hamburger and cheeseburger here.
Yes, ma'am.
French fries,
Oh, I'm
steak,
sorry.
something.
TikTok man about you.
So we going back to 5?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about the hopping around here. We're going back to agenda item number 5. Approval of council meeting minutes from May 11th to May 18th, 2023.
I make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes from May 11th and May 18th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Nuendo, your vote.
Abstain for May 11th, for May 18th.
Okay, Ms. Taylor
4.
and Mr. McAnally.
4.
Motion carries. Let's go to agenda item number 6. Consider the request of the Brookshire Youth Sport League for various improvements to Upper Park. Is Mr. Jenkins here today? No.
No, as I understand it, Mayor, he contacted city staff and let them know he would not be here today, so we can table this.
I'd like to ask for this to be put on the next agenda. Move to the next agenda.
Agenda item number 7, prohibiting the use of 4727 Gassner Road as an illegal dump site by Untitled Construction Cleanup and directing that all application regulates be applied to the site.
Justin? We're at number 7.
Yep. So I'm here on that. So that I got notified by several of you about an illegal dump site. And originally, I think the description was that it was like a construction, it was proposed to be just a construction, site for maybe temporary residential construction. But the pictures that are obviously there, this is way more than that. And whatever, granting, whether it was an official permit or whether it was just an informal, authorization for this group to use the site as, essentially a dump site for residential stuff. It's beyond that now. And so you don't have zoning, but you have the authority to restrict and relocate businesses and uses in the city that are unhealthy. And so I think this would be right in line with that. So you as the council, even though you don't have zoning, you're a type A city, and you can direct that to be stopped and moved. And so that's why the agenda item's written the way it is that any kind of regulation to put on the site that you could do that. So I think in your scope of authority, what you could do, one part of what you could do with this item is to direct that the site, the work cease right now. And that's from your authority as a city. In addition to that, the way the pictures look to me, and I've showed them to several other attorneys, it appears to be, just a straightaway dump site, like an illegal dump site, meaning that TCEQ more than likely should be involved. And so as part of your authorization, I think that we need to make them prove up that they have all permits from TCEQ, that TCEQ is notified. We get whoever the rep is for TCEQ to come out here and do what they need to do. Because I think it's beyond just city violations. I think we're looking at state violations for what they're doing at the site. So all that to say that my recommendation for you is that you just take action to stop any kind of use of that property for any kind of dump.
Now, Mr. Pruitt, they have multiple properties in a row. Are we able to word this all properties owned by Centolo Construction?
Yes, yeah, you
Okay.
can do that because the authorization you have under the state code is to direct the location or direct the location of any business in the city, and you can also prohibit that same kind of use. So I think any site owned by a Centella construction company that's used as a dump in any form is prohibited, and that be the action.
Kim?
Sorry, go ahead. So for the rest of council, if I could say this because it might answer your question, if you've had a chance to go by there,
Pictures if you don't.
I have as well. They have several lots. And there's also some conforming use that I'm concerned about, parking regulation, et cetera. But behind some of those other lots, they're starting to become some dump sites as well. And that's where, and if you've not seen this one, it is the footprint of the dump site is bigger than the building they occupy, and it's taller than the building they occupy. So it's not I'm afraid, Mr. Pruitt, you can also advise on this as well. What happens if they abandon the property altogether? Is the city then obligated to go out and clean this out?
Is there something that
And can we file a lien against them to do that work?
You could, but I think because they're the ones that are the owners of the property, that's where I think the TCEQ would be the best source for you guys, because they could authorize whatever resources that are at their disposal to clean the site up. And I think that would be, I think where you have strict authority to prohibit the business, but if something happens like you're talking about, they just don't listen to you or they abandon it, then you have a site that they're still in violation, which I'm sure they're in violation of TCEQ regulations. And then TCEQ's, response to that could be more severe than yours. And so that's why I think that any and all regulations that could be applied to it should be applied to that site.
Should we also consider suspending all permits and certificate of occupancies?
Yes, I mean, I think anything at all that you can do to stop the use.
And who would enforce that, Mr. Pruitt?
Well, I think right now, the way things are going, I saw that you have a new code enforcement officer, so he could, engage the owners, and then with, depending on his certifications, you can at least double down with the police department to issue the citations. But that's what it's going to be. It's going to be citations against, prohibited use in the city. And so, and the way the state code runs like that, it's $2,000 a day per violation.
So,
You heard that the police department would be part of this.
Mr. Pruitt, can we have Olson draft a letter outlining the action of council so that there's no confusion of what is about to potentially transpire based on motions?
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll have it drafted so that it's I'll have it drafted from your code enforcement officer to deliver it to the property owners, and we'll have several copies of that. And then we're going to give them, whatever time frame that you direct to respond. And then after that, it's, that's when your actions can start. But understanding, and the letter will say this too, that all state authorities and other, county and state authorities are going to be involved, and so they need to respond.
So when you say the time that we direct to comply, clarify that for me.
So, you can say it's stopped right now, but the thing that, to save you some hassle in the future, because what they could do is they could come back and say that, you didn't give them enough due process to respond correctly or whatever, or they could make an argument that, at some point they were authorized to do this. So you have to give them, this is just a conservative approach on this deal, is you give them some reasonable time to give you a response. Man, I think what that could be is like maybe sometime by, the middle of next week. I guess, okay, we can get the letter drafted tomorrow, we deliver it to them, Monday, sometime in the middle to late next week. If they don't provide any response to you at all, then, you let them understand that that's when we're going to start issuing citations, and, we can put liens on the property, all that kind of stuff.
So the motion should in theory be within 5 days of receipt of notice, work to cease on the property, prove up all TCQ permits, and if this has not been done by them, we would then suspend all permits and certificate of occupation
Right.
occupancy. Thank you.
Yes.
So is that your motion?
Let me, I guess, restate it one more time just to make sure Mr. Pruitt doesn't have
Mr.
a
Hill,
problem. Yes.
do we want to require some sort of mitigation or cleanup as part of this motion?
That is a good point. Mr. Pruitt, what are our options on that?
So that's what you do. Some of the response is going to be either prove up that they have the authority to do what they're doing, which I just seriously doubt that. And again, they may, but I don't think that they do. And then the second would be like what Councilman McNally just said, is that, or you say something like part of the response is that you deliver to us what you're going to do to remedy the situation. And since the direction from council is going to be that use is not allowed on the property, you got to show us how you're coming to conformance with it. So either you show us within 5 days or whatever it is how you're going to get rid of everything. And that could be they say within the next 10 days, we're going to have all the stuff off and we're going to move it out of the city or something like that. Then that could satisfy what you're doing, because then because your motion today is that you're not allowing that site or any of their properties to be used as a dump. Then then they theoretically be in conformance with what you say. So yes, the answer is yes to that. Include in the and the letter is going to be, their response needs to be, show us all proof of authorization from all authorities that you can do what you're doing. Second is that, at least from the city side, that you're going to give us a plan to show how you're going to come to conformance with what we're saying, which is no dump site. So.
Okay. Can essentially then our motion be to direct Olson to draft this letter, giving Santola Construction 5 days to prove up their TCEQ permits, and you incorporate all this other language into that letter?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it fit whatever you guys do.
Okay, well, you understand what we're trying to do, right? Well, everything we just discussed.
Yeah.
Cease work right now.
It's understood. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's understood.
All right, that would be my motion then, is to direct Olson Olson to draft a letter to Santola Construction, requiring them to, within 5 business days, prove up that they have the proper TCEQ permits to operate as a dump or any other word that they might come up with site.
Second.
Ms. Newendorf,
4.
Ms. Taylor,
4.
McAnally.
4.
Okay, motion carries. Let's move on down to agenda item number 9. Approving the purchase of coolers by event committee. Ms. Taylor.
Yes, council and mayor. I was asking, could we purchase coolers for the events that we're having? Because we do not have any coolers, we do not have any, what they call
Tents for the-
tents or nothing. So that's, everyone, like, I use my family stuff, or,
We've never,
well, I was told that they had them a while back before, and they just walked away.
let me finish my sentence, Ms. Davis. We've never provided tents, Mr. McAnally, and I don't think it's a good practice. The problem is storage. Then you store it in the racks. Am I correct, Mr. Kelly?
On the tents that the city did have, what happened to them, been a while back, I think Joey was the man back here. We started learning them out, right? And then they left them up, and a strong wind came, tore them all up, and the city didn't.
I'm talking about like for the use of selling beer and stuff like that, not for vendors and stuff to use. I'm talking about like for the committee, basically.
And where do we plan to store these coolers and our tents?
Do you have any room?
Y'all see me talking to be well. Public Works is not a storage. Everything comes from up the city. How is that Public Works? I done ran out of room. But for the coolers and stuff, if we clean out this room back here, I think we have a whole lot of other room, like t-shirts and like stuff and things.
All of that stuff got approved to be destroyed by city council, Mr. Hill and Ms. Newendorf, right soon after y'all got elected. It was a whole list, I think it was 3 pages.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
The t-shirts was to go to a homeless shelter, the trophies donated to whoever, and the stuff is still sitting back there. I mean, there's trophies back there from like 1979.
Turkeys?
Trophies.
Oh, trophies. I
That's
thought you
a
said there was
turkey
turkeys
back there.
back there. I was like,
impressive. Those are still back
Golly.
there.
Do we have an estimated budget on this?
No, I was trying to get it done so we can, cause actually Igloo just had a sale, so we could've got some good prices on coolers, but we didn't make it, so.
Make it for a whole lot of stuff that the council didn't approve, but anyway. We can
What
talk
happened?
about that at another time.
What she say?
I'm not sure. Mr. Hall, I would estimate that you're probably talking less than $500 for a couple of coolers and a pop-up tent.
If we're wanting a pop-up tent that's gonna last, I know the one that I used for my business was about $280 off of Amazon because they're really strong and they're the ones that have lasted me the longest compared to the ones that you can get from Academy.
Right, that's
They're
what
they're cross braced,
yeah,
but
that's what I was saying, $250 for a decent tent and then $125 for those big
At
coolers.
least two.
yeah, the large igloo coolers are probably
Yeah.
about that.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what.
Not
So
a
that's
Yeti.
$500 roughly.
I would would say 750 to be safe, but that's.
Any further discussion?
Now, is this gonna be paid for out of general fund or hotel motel?
That's why I brought it to the council. I mean, probably hotel and motel since it is for the festivals or, you know, city use or however, you know. Y'all probably be using them too for, out, what it's called? Neighbors Night Out.
National Night Out,
Yeah,
National Night Out.
yeah, National Night Out, so.
Your agenda item, Ms. Taylor, you wanna make a motion?
Motion?
I would like to make a motion that we approve purchasing of coolers and tents for the event committee for the festivals of Brookshire.
Not to,
Not to exceed an
Not to
amount.
exceed $750.
oh, you must really be
Just say a
Mr.
just say a
McAnally,
thousand.
really? $750?
Just say 1,000, just leave it.
What's that?
Just say 1,000.
$500? I don't know.
Well, go right, y'all, if it's $750, go right ahead.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'm done. Everything. It's a better city. Can't get nothing.
750.
Just for clarity, was your motion just the coolers or coolers and a tent?
Coolers and a tent.
Okay, I just didn't hear tents, I'm
Gotcha.
making sure that was clear.
Mr. McAnally?
4.
4.
Ms. Branch?
Or,
Oh, it's on sale. Yes, ma'am.
And we can get 2 tents. and
So I
5
just looked up the one that I purchased for my business. Right now, they're on sale for $199.95. They are normally $229.95. So that's why I was saying the 750, just to make sure if there's tax or shipping, but
Right.
just to provide clarity.
needed.
You saying 4 of them needed 4
I
coolers?
said before, if y'all buy it off of there, I doubt that it'll be here
Before
before it's
Saturday.
needed.
I knew it wasn't gonna be for Saturday. I was borrowing, like I said, I was borrowing my family's because I knew it wasn't gonna be purchased before Saturday. Even the coolers, I'm borrowing the coolers because we don't have any.
Okay,
It said it'll be here Sunday.
let's move on to agenda item number 10, authorizing the rental of a truck to clean out covers in the city. Ms. Branch?
Help Mr. Kelly.
Everybody.
Okay.
Council. To clean the covers. Right. Actually, it's just it's the same area that, we need to use it, because it got one whole street block down, that's Franklin over there. That we tried to rig up something to make it work, but we got, I wanna say a 60-foot cover where how about an apartment, townhouse is at? Then across the street on the other side, the same problem, and I don't have nothing to stop that water, but try the truck. We don't need it for all over Brookshire, because a lot of those covers finna be replaced. I've found covers where they got 10-inch covers in there. They start off with 18, and some of them got 10, but I know in certain areas, it'll help if you can use that truck.
How much does this truck cost, Mr. Kelly?
Well, it's the rent. I didn't ask to buy it because it's very expensive. I just would like to rent it. But I did turn in the package a while back to y'all, and I just can't remember the numbers off the top of my head. Look into it.
Would it hurt your feelings if I made the motion that it be put on the next agenda and you could bring the price of how many ever days y'all needed?
No.
Or the time limit that y'all?
But it is, I would like to rent it when I get ready for it, cause I done started on, Purdy, and we working going across, trying to get that standing water out.
We just want, I don't care what date
Oh.
you rent it. for how many days? Are you gonna need it for 2 days? Are you gonna need it for 30 days?
No,
Are you
no,
gonna-
Ms. Branch, I really can't answer that question, cause I don't know the
Oh, well,
problem
you
that.
better
No, listen,
figure it
listen
out.
to me now, because I don't know the problem that I'm gonna have trying to unstop it. Cause we talking about like 60 to 70 feet of cover,
Solid mud.
solid mud. And then the bad, worst thing scenario is it's been there for some years, and it ought to be just clean.
Well, I tell you what we'll do.
Come on, talk
We'll give you 30 days. Get the, I'm gonna ask that it be tabled that, to the next agenda. Get the estimate of how much it'll be for 30 days.
Put it in the truck for 30 days.
Right. And if you find out that you're gonna need it longer,
Yeah, he said.
or we can turn it back in and then re-rent it when you get to another problem spot. Would that help your feelings any?
That'll help me out a lot,
That's-
but it's, I mean, I just don't know what I'm gonna run into, Ms. Branch.
Well, 30 days, if you can't figure it out in 30 days, Mr. Kelly, we just need to dig up all the culverts and start over.
One of the problems
We could just do that.
is, the cover's running, it's in the city easement, but it's got concrete on top. It's a whole lot of work go with that. You know, I do my best.
30 days.
I know.
Kelly, that's more than they've been trying to give you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Be
ma'am.
grateful, Kelly. Just take your 30 days.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to
I'm
table.
gonna take the 30 days.
I'd
Well,
like to
it
table.
hasn't been approved by council yet.
Right. And don't do it before we
No,
will approve it at the next.
I'm not gonna
If
do it, I'm not
we-
gonna do it till I hear from council.
Get us the estimate, and I'd like to make the motion that we table this to the next, meeting. And that we,
Pending the estimate.
pending the estimate for Mr. Kelly's for Public Works.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought we had another
Have a
meeting
second?
before.
Is that your motion? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Second?
Ms. Taylor,
4.
Mr. McAnally,
4.
and Mr. Hill.
4.
Okay, motion passed. Agenda item number 11, approving all invoices for 4th of July Festival. Ms. Branch.
Council, all I have to present tonight is the fireworks. I thought we had another meeting before July the 4th. I have hired 2 bands. The rest of the monies that would be needed would be, I hired 2 bands and a DJ. I can't estimate how much the food will cost because we're giving away free hot dogs and apple pies. So I would like to, then on this invoice, we have to add another $400 for setup and the popping of the fireworks. And so I'd like to ask council to approve this along with a allotment of at least $5,000 to finish up. It won't be anywhere close to $5,000, but to finish the 2 bands, the DJ, as well as the food for, the festival.
Are these hot funds? Are we allowed to purchase fireworks with hot funds?
I have for the last 4 years, but I'm glad that you brought that up, Mr. McAnally, because I think that after this festival, that we should shut down all festivals until Olson and Olson, you there, Justin?
Yes, I'm here.
That we shut down all festivals until budget, as well as Olson and Olson. I believe that we had asked this question before, Mr. Pruitt, that we get clarification and real clarification, because it was brought up by the former what was he?
Interim city administrator.
Interim city administrator, that we were spending hotel motel tax money for stuff that didn't qualify for us, so, if you could work on that, Mr. Pruitt, not that you don't already have a full plate with what's going on in the city, that, we get that taken care of before, have a workshop discussing what can and can't be used for hotel motel tax, and we have to have some kind of rules and regulations how these festivals are to be conducted.
This council's approved that workshop being put together at an earlier meeting several months ago. So we need to make it happen now, for sure.
We never got
I get it, I'm just saying, it's already approved. We don't have to reapprove that workshop because it's already been approved to happen. We just need to schedule it at this point.
we can't schedule it, Mr. McAnally, until we get the details of how the hotel tax money can be used.
And that's what you will get at the workshop.
But you're trying to shut down the festivals until the rest of the festivals.
I'm not sure what your question is, Mr. McAnally.
No
I think he's
question,
just
you-
saying that the
Say
workshop
that-
could be
that-
scheduled and that we would simultaneously
so-
receive information.
Go
I'll
ahead.
say this, that, I mean, for what so I know that the comment's been made, you've spent stuff on, you know, not necessarily said it illegal, but just stuff that's not authorized. I don't know that that's quite true, but I mean, again, I'm not the auditor for what you've spent all your hotel motel tax stuff on. I do know that the process you have in general conforms with all requirements for the state. And, but if we need to have a workshop to go over general expenditures and all that, we can do that. Or like in this case, what you're saying is if you want to spend certain portions of the hot funds on July 4th, you can do that. We'll just need to make sure we get some kind of line item thing of what you're wanting to spend it on, and then
July
the general filter is that
July the 4th and Juneteenth, Cinco de Mayo is already budgeted within the budget for this year. When we go into the next year's budget, I would like to ask, could we have a clear-cut understanding of what the hotel motel tax money can be used for, and if some stuff that we feel that we need can be paid for out of the general fund because it doesn't qualify for hotel motel tax, and all of us get caught off guard because I mean, if we don't know, we don't know. But now that it's been brought to our attention three times by the former interim city administrator, I think that it would be smart of us to see what qualifies and what doesn't, and
Right.
and fix rules and regulations.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying is, like, for those events, whatever you're planning for next year, in your budget workshops, I think that's when it sounds like this is going to be done. Then you present or dream up, all the expenses you think you're going to be associated with those events, and then we can go line by line on what has been authorized in the past, what can be, and then what can't be, and then that'd be part of the budget workshop, and that's easy to do.
Okay, I'm good. So my motion is the $7,000 and plus $5,000 to finish out the food, the two bands, and the DJ. And I'll present the invoices to City Council, I guess, July 6th.
Okay, $7,000 for what?
The fireworks.
And what was the other?
$400 for sale.
690509 is for fireworks.
Plus
Another $400 for them to be set up and popped off. 2 bands and a DJ, and the food to give away hot dogs and apple pie on July 4th. It won't come anywhere close to that amount.
Do we have a second?
Second.
If anybody would like to volunteer, it'd be very nice.
Ms. Newendorf, your vote.
4.
Ms. Taylor
4.
and Mr. Hill.
4.
Okay, motion carries. Move on to agenda item number 12. Approving resolution 1452, granting a variance for certain platinum and permitting requirements for a proposed home to be built at 507 Purdy. Will you state your name again for me, sir? Okay.
Last time it was, tabled because of the Curtis Street not being registered as a city street. And that's what we left.
Mr. Pruitt?
I'm here.
Mr. Gomez is back, and we had tabled this to see about Purdy Street not being a city street. Have we moved forward on that?
I mean, I don't know. That's the city staff issue, and I don't know if they've looked into that or not.
Yeah, I think it was directed to city staff, Mayor, Ms. Glover. Does anybody know? I'm asking. Is the answer no? Okay.
Yeah, we did,
Mr. Kelly, can you come up here and speak in the mic, because everybody says that half the conversations are
I
recorded.
talked to our permit department, and, we did go to the map. And it's like up in the air. We can just really answer it because we needed to talk to the engineer, which we don't have. I'd be able to say, yeah, and it's not.
But the Dura has an engineer that we borrow from time to time,
And that
so
is
why
it.
wasn't it?
Since she had not got back with me. But she said she would.
Mr. Gomez, I hate to do this to you, but I'm gonna table this to the next city council meeting and direct Ms. Glover and the mayor, as well as Mr. Pruitt and Mr. Kelly, to all work together to decide about Purdy Street and bring it back to us. Sorry, Mr. Gomez.
Second.
All right.
Sorry.
You too. Ms. Newendorf, your vote.
4.
Ms. Taylor
4. Well, we're voting.
and Mr. McAnally.
4.
Okay, motion carries. Agenda number 13, approving resolution, approving a development plan for the proposed installations of 4 electric vehicle charging stations at the Shell station generally located at the corner of Waller Avenue and 10th Street.
Mayor and council, if y'all have any questions on this, Ms. Glover few moments ago handed me an email stating that they have a representative who could get on the phone, but due to us having Mr. Pruitt on the phone tonight, we really don't have that capability of, or I don't want to attempt to have that capability and lose our legal counsel. So if y'all are comfortable passing it, the rest of y'all, that's fine. But if y'all have any questions, unfortunately, the party that would be able to answer those is not going to be able to join us this evening.
And it's at the Shell Station's expense, and
My understanding, yeah, it would not be anything related to the city paying for this.
Yeah, I think it's just
At all.
is this just for the,
Pay station.
yeah, we're just approving the development plan?
Correct.
Okay. Like there's no variances required or anything like that?
Not at this time.
Yeah, I reviewed the plans, and it doesn't look they need any variances. They're not requesting any additional information, simply
They're going
Um,
up everywhere.
looking for the, for the installation.
Yep.
And council, just so you see in your packet for this resolution, your city staff recommends approval of it, so they don't have any problems with what's been presented.
Right.
city staff as in
Ardura.
Adura.
So you're contracted city staff, so Ardura, they recommend approval of site development plan, so they don't have any issues, but no conditions.
So it looks like they're just gonna change out 4 fuel pump bays into electric charging stations.
Correct.
It's just one, looks like it's just one fuel pump bay. It's 2 fuels, but 1 bay. It looks like they're gonna change out, which will give them 4.
Oh, I got you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Front or hood, or rear. If the mayor wants a motion,
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion we approve resolution 1456 as presented.
Second. Sorry.
You're good.
Ms. Newendorf, your vote.
4.
Ms. Taylor
4.
and Ms. Branch.
Or
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 14, approving resolution 1457, awarding divorce products, Inc. to the purchase of the police department recording systems to be paid by American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds.
Mayor and council, the recommendation of award was to the lowest bidder on this item. They were all relatively close, but this was the lowest bidder.
According to this, actually the second, to the mid bidder.
No, yeah, that is correct. The lowest bidder was not SAM.gov verified. I apologize, you are correct. They were not SAM.gov verified, so
Got
it
it.
did go to, I think it was a couple $100 difference between the lowest and that one.
Okay.
I do apologize. Thank
Yeah.
you for that correction.
anything that y'all wanna say about it?
For the recorder, it was my preferred to have anyways, the same, technology and software that I have, just updated everything.
Any further discussion?
I move that we approve resolution 1457 as presented.
Second.
Ms. Taylor, your
4.
vote. Mr. Hill,
4.
got me confused. Is you? And Ms. Branch.
Or
Motion carries. Agenda item number 15.
Did you get Ms. Newendorf's vote?
I seconded it.
She
Okay.
seconded.
Very good.
Mr. McAnally and her.
I apologize.
Agenda item number 15, approving resolution number 458, awarding Dell Technologies to purchase 10 police department laptops to be paid by American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds.
Mayor and council, I'm going to redeem my previous misstatement. This one actually was awarded to the lowest bidder.
I had a question about this. It's so much lower, $8 to $12,000 lower. Are we sure that the scope is complete?
Identical, the same RFP was sent out to all parties. So yes, I can tell you, just in brief, looking at other departments, a lot of them use the Dell technology. I think this other companies, especially the rugged portables, probably are more actual hard shell, like mechanic style that could be used in and out. These stay in the vehicle. To my understanding, they really don't exit the vehicle at any time. So to have that extra layer of that's not really that necessary. Again, the chief can dispute that if he would like to, but
You got anything, Chief?
I do think that the Dell technology do have some sort of rugged outer ring, even if they not
Yep.
expensive as the other.
I know the Panasonics are known for their rugged unit, but again, I don't know that.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 1463, excuse me, 1458.
Second.
Mr. McAnally,
4.
Mr. Hill,
4.
Ms. Branch.
Or,
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 16. Awarding to Utility Inc. the purchase of 10 dash cameras, 10 rear cameras, and 20,
Body.
that's supposed to be body?
That's supposed to be body.
Cameras for the police department to be paid by American Rescue Plan Act.
Mayor and council, on this one, you see the recommendation is for the middle of the road pricing. And the reason, there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, the features on utility, there's a lot of features they have related to CAD, meaning location, centralizing, things like that. Redundancies as far as if an officer falls down and doesn't get up after a certain number of seconds over a certain plane, a BOLO would go out to the entire department. We have the ability to set it up where if you respond in service to a call and you get within a certain radius of that call, all of your stuff comes on immediately. So there's no manual of having to do that. There's also some weapon pull sensory. So if an officer pulls a weapon in an interaction, it would again send that kind of information out to the other officers in the area that there's an incident that probably needs backup response. Secondarily to this, every entity in Waller County now has migrated to this software with the exception of 2. And so there is some hopes in the future that there will be some changes on the county level as far as how evidence or footage, I should refer to it as, is transferred over to the DA's office. If everyone were to come and kind of create a uniform standard of that, it could change that to where it would make it a lot easier for redactions and sending this information over to the DA's office. So for those reasons, and there were some issues with one of the bids as far as there was a recurring monthly cost to use this software versus this is an all-in for the, I believe, 5 or 10 years, 5 years on this. Again, the recommendation is to go with Utility Associates. whoever makes the motion, could you please word it as subject to final pricing negotiations? Because in the award process, or the selection process to recommend, the discussion was we still have room to negotiate that pricing potentially down, and to go back to them and say, well, we had other bids in this range, and try to negotiate that pricing down. So I would recommend, and I guess I can make the motion, that we approve Resolution 1463 and the add alternative subject to final negotiations on pricing.
Just before we vote, one more time, Chief, any comment on this? Any concerns, questions? Nothing.
These cameras, so these cameras that we're looking at, yeah, I know Harris County is using these type of cameras right now, and, I mean, they're very effective, I like it. So, and I think, me and Mayor went to a presentation in Hempstead, and, so, they let everybody know where the officers at the show.
They're pretty advanced.
Yes,
So you prefer these?
yes.
Okay.
Second.
Wait a minute. I thought we already had.
No,
Just a motion.
just a
I'm
motion.
sorry, I interrupted after the motion.
Wait,
I made the motion, and
Yeah.
then Mr. McNally had a question, so,
Second.
second by Ms. Neuendorf, just now.
I'll get it. Okay, Ms. Neuendorf, your vote?
She's the second.
Taylor, 4.
Wait a minute.
Nordhoff seconded.
It's getting late.
I don't know how I did all of that. Okay.
I don't know, because I made the comment that people aren't liking if we're.
Hmm?
Did you give him a new piece of paper?
I did.
Yeah, but I messed up here some kind of way. Okay, the motion was made by,
Hill,
yeah, I had that right. And the second was
Neuendorf.
Neuendorf. I don't know why I put Max.
I'll get right on that.
Ms. Taylor, your vote.
4.
Mr. Hill.
Mr. Hill made the
I
motion.
mean, wait a minute.
So these are the people.
Okay, Ms. Branch, it's time to go. Ms. Branch, your vote.
Or, we still
And
left out Mr. McInerney.
I'm going back. Mr. McInerney.
4.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, I apologize. I interrupted. I think I threw a monkey wrench into that.
Okay, agenda item number 17, approving resolution 1459, appointing members to event planning committee. Ms. Taylor.
Mayor and council, we do have members that was appointed that never showed for the committee. So I was coming to the council to get those removed and add a couple to the committee. Cause it's a couple of them that never showed.
Who would those be?
So Adrian Rocha never came, and Billy Travis.
Billy Travis.
Yeah. And I wanted to also remove Ollie Williams because of the confusion that he's having with the other members of the committee, sorry.
I say that we remove the whole committee and start all the way over after we have the workshop on what can and can't be done. My phone is ringing, why can't people volunteer? My thought process of when Ms. Neuendorf brought up committees, that you would have a committee, everybody have a voice, and then everybody vote.
That's what we do.
But
That's what we do, but we have one person in that committee that comes in and, you know, they appoint people to do something, or they vote for something, and that one person argues with everybody on that committee.
Okay.
I have another council member he wasn't a council member at the time, but he's a witness to what goes on in those meetings. And the only thing is, I came to the committee about him as far as DJing. That's fine. You could DJ. Why are you coming to the committee causing confusion if you want to DJ?
Well-
Because that's all he states is he wants to DJ.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna call the man
I didn't.
a liar, but it was my understanding that he was told that he couldn't DJ, because he's,
That was the first,
a
and I brought
committee.
that right after that was stated. I brought it to the council, and you guys, what did I not? I brought it to the council, and you guys said that he could DJ. So that was established that he could DJ.
well, I'm gonna once again ask that the committee be disbanded at this present time, because I'd like to speak in a workshop, since we can't do it.
That's just one person though. It's
Well, Ms. Taylor, there's three, if you kick off that person, you still got two other people.
we got, and it's so my sister, she's been coming, but she's not a member. But she's been coming, volunteering and helping. This gentleman right here just stated he wanted to be on it, so I was gonna add him from the two people that's not.
If that's what y'all wanna do, y'all go ahead. Everybody has a vote here, Ms. Taylor.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm telling you, the mayor's phone has rang, my phone has rang.
I just think-
There has been festival held outside the city that has been questioned over and over, and I'm tired of answering the question. I don't know, because I'm not on that committee. There was people that volunteered that somehow got pushed into running the whole, well, I'll say one night of the festival, that said it was so disorganized, they had never volunteered for anything in the city of Brookshire again.
Yeah,
Which
that's what I was told too.
Which is very sad.
It really is, because like I'm saying,
And
I got that same call, and it was because that one person.
No, this is two different people I'm talking about. So, but the common denominator here, Miss Taylor, is you and this person. And that's why I'm asking, could we go back and just try and reorganize
That's
this
fine.
with people that, actually, instead of appointing people, I'd like to ask the community to volunteer to be a board member, because all of this is not working.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not working at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was told in, I don't know what year it was, when I first started doing the 4th of July festival, that I couldn't hire my niece that had a, what do you call those blow up?
Inflatables.
Yeah, inflatable company. I couldn't hire her because she was my niece. I just found out that the most money that we're spending is going to somebody's brother that I've lived here for 34 years and didn't even know that they was brothers and sisters. So that's pretty sad.
Yeah, it
And
is.
then we paid people in April for the festival that is just now coming up. When I do a festival, I don't pay deposits to bands.
That's you though.
I understand that, Miss Taylor. I don't pay deposits to bands. I don't have the mayor and whoever signing the check running around rampant looking for new tables and checks to get signed on the same day and all of that. We have to have some kind of organization about the whole thing.
All the checks that I have put on there, it was put in way before, a day before.
What? A day before? Okay. Do we want to really do this? Because I can do it with you, Miss Taylor. So on Monday,
But I'm
at
just letting
1
everybody know I'm
o'clock-
resigning from being over the committees, because evidently it's all me, so I'm gonna resign. This will be my last committee event, Juneteenth. This will be my last committee.
and
on
I
Juneteenth.
asked the council that we reorganize the whole committee. that the people that's on the committee now, everybody be wiped off, and we ask for volunteers and have a workshop.
That's fine.
We were contacted at 1 o'clock on Monday that we needed more tables. Today, we had to run around and sign checks that I know, it's every day I've signed a check. It's not my duty to sign checks anymore. It's Mr. Hill's duty. I'm getting brought into a whole lot of stuff that I don't want to be part of.
They haven't put in anything, how you gonna find it?
I've not even been contacted to be
Thank
put
you.
on the account.
Thank you.
Well, it's sure not my duty to do it,
No, it's not. To
so
my
I,
knowledge,
you know,
there's one staff member who has the ability to do that. The mayor can't even do it.
the mayor can't even do it.
Well, why is that staff member delayed this for over a month then?
They have to
Well,
get
you'll
they
have
have
to
get
ask
approval by
them.
That's why. They
I
have to get
called
approval by
today
them.
to get
They
it,
have to get
see if I could get it processed, the changes.
And the mayor,
So
I mean-
tomorrow I need to call someone else. See if I
So
can
the
get-
staff member simply refused to do the job?
They got to get approval by them.
I'm not
It-
saying
Never-
that they
It was never,
refuse.
you know, told to do or whatever. They didn't get,
I can't hear
The
what you
staff member didn't
say.
get the appropriate approval
right,
from council?
not from council, from the mayor,
She's
Well-
waiting for approval from the mayor?
What?
to get exchanged for the,
I just told you I called again today and didn't get anywhere.
oh, okay.
Tomorrow I have to call another person.
I'm not the
I-
mayor
I'm
pro
not-
tem anymore, so why would I be signing checks? With that, I meant, that's just a simple
Until I can
question.
get it changed, there's nothing,
So I guess my question would be, if council voted and appointed a mayor pro tem, this can't be the first time in 50-something years of the city we've had a new mayor pro tem.
It happened the
Why
last
would that-
time when Eric Green,
Yeah.
it happened, it took a while for Eric Green to get signed on too.
So did we not learn anything from
Well,
that
that's funny
experience?
that you know that, Mr. McAnally. Maybe you can help help speed up the process.
I was unaware the process hadn't occurred until this very moment.
But you knew that it took a while for Eric Green.
No, that was
I
Miss
said
Taylor.
that.
That was Ms. Taylor that said that.
I don't know nothing about Eric Green.
Well, I thought he said yeah to the.
Oh, okay.
I apologize, I misunderstood.
okay. I will work tomorrow to see if I can get this all corrected. I don't know what the problem is.
We
I
do.
called, they give me the runaround. I called the bank today. I also talked to
Okay, but I appreciate that, Mayor, but if a current staff member has approval above and beyond yours,
Right.
why has that staff member not made these changes?
Ms. Taylor, Miss
don't know.
Mayor Branch can't even get a list of all the 16 bank accounts. There's one person's name on that. I was sitting there in the bank with Mayor Branch. There's some lady named Barbara that is off-site. She's the Wells Fargo representative for the city of Brookshire, but actually, this is not even part of this agenda item, but I'm not signing any more checks.
Well, I believe with Miss Taylor's resignation, we would have no other option except to disband the committee at this point and try to reorganize it.
And try and ask from volunteers for this, from the community.
That's what we did when we went out, but we brought the people that was asked the first time.
Okay, so, look, do we need a motion or whatever?
yes.
I make a motion that we table this we can reorganize the event planning committee. And I guess it'd go along with the workshop that we do on how we can spend money.
I would second that.
Thank you, Mr. McAnally.
Ms. Newendorf,
4.
Ms. Taylor,
Abstain.
Mr. McAnally?
Mr. Hill,
4.
who did I leave out?
Mayor,
Nobody.
could we
That's it.
take about a 5-minute recess?
5-minute recess. It's now 9:16, we're starting back. What's the number? Okay, agenda item number 18. Approving resolution 1460, authorizing the sale to Eyes on Me of the city-owned structure intended to be used as a dog pound, placing certain restriction related to the sale. Ms. Branch.
Mayor and council, I met with Ryan Orban and Jimmy, and I forgot Jimmy's last name. Forgive me, Jimmy. They asked for a 90-day exclusive, help me, Mr. Hill, that we give them 90 days to have fundraising in order to be able to purchase the building.
An exclusive right to buy.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Newendorf. I asked you, Mr. Hill.
I apologize.
And I'd like to see if it satisfies the rest of the council. I think that it's a great idea.
Are they gonna move it, or?
Yes, they understand that they have to pay for the taking it apart, moving it, plus the price of the building. They promised to give us a number that they're willing to pay. And I explained to them very nicely, please don't lowball the offer. But we've advertised this building. It's just sitting there. I believe that we all can agree that it will cost the city too much to bring it up to standards for any kind of use. And maybe, even though Chief Miller really wanted it, maybe we can find a place in budget to get him his own storage behind the PD on a smaller scale.
And they're asking for this with
Correctly
no,
done scale.
they don't want, they're not willing to give us any financial remuneration to secure this 90 days?
No.
Normal real estate practice would be that they would put down some sort of a deposit, and if they don't operate within 90 days, then they would forfeit those deposits. If they do, those deposits would be applied towards the
Well,
sale. But I'm just asking because that's normal real estate business.
I know that we
well,
had this listed though in unconventional. I don't think that we were looking for like a traditional contract with the earnest money like you're speaking of, because of the nature of the building, from what I understand. And because we're selling the unit that is being disassembled and moved, and there's not actually like a real estate or a deed that's being associated with it, it would essentially be a bill of sale because it's a building that's being taken down. So earnest money wouldn't necessarily be required because we're retaining the land.
So I'd be more than glad to make that motion. They're disassembling it, they're moving it, they understand that there'll be fees, permit fees to have it put on their property over there. And I'm not, the hangar and Eyes on Me has supported our community since forever, but with the food drive, I know me and Chief Miller stood out in the middle of 4th and Cooper every Friday for the first, year and a half? And until I got sick, they were doing it once a month. They give back so
Give back a
much
lot.
to our community, especially to the youth, that,
The hustle program and the new trades program
and that's really what they wanted the building for, was to make it, I believe, into the trades
classrooms for the
program.
trades program?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know Ryan was talking about that about a year ago, needing classroom space.
I absolutely agree. They're wonderful community members. I'm not sure I would consider offering it for gratis to somebody else, but I believe.
They didn't say free grad.
No, even for the consideration.
Oh.
But for this particular position, because they are such valuable members of our community, I would be willing to do that.
Well, I make a motion that we allow 90 days to the Eyes on Me Incorporation to raise funds to purchase the structure that is identified as the dog pound. And that's my motion.
Second.
And the 90 days, could I add something to that? The 90 days not to start until July 1st.
Still second.
Yeah.
All right.
Start the
90 days starting
90
July
days,
1st.
July 1st. That gives them an extra little bit of time, but
It's a point of information. Tomorrow, Joe Blow walks in and says, "I'll give you $80,000." We're in that gap between there and July 1st. And the previous council's approval was to sell it to the highest bidder. Are we potentially in a weird gap there by not saying first right of refusal beginning today through 90 days after July 1st?
that sounds like a Justin
Good
Pruitt question to me.
Point. Retract my second.
Yeah, so the context of this thing, just so we're the same, you can't, when you sell city property, whatever it is, you have a lot of red tape. The way you got to do it is set, specific standards for it. Here we got two ways we're doing that. One is that through whatever terms you're going to put, you're going to say that it's not fit for its intended use. That's why that language is there. Second is that it's here we're a little bit protected because I would imagine that that Eyes on Me is a nonprofit, so we have a little bit of security there. It's not traditional. So that I know there was some comments about earnest money. We don't have to worry about that as long as we're discarding the property because it's just not intended for its original use. What I would do though is just make sure that as long as we're giving them 90 days plus or whatever we're going to do, that in whatever capacity we're just saying that whether we get a within the 90 plus day window we get a better offer from somebody else, that as long as we sell it and we understand that we're doing it as property is not intended for its original use, then we're going to be a little bit more safe than we would be if just trying to sell it to, as we would just a traditional sale of property.
Right.
So you're kind of wide open on what you can do, but that's the big deal. As long as you label it that it's not intended for its original use.
The reason, Mr. Hill, that I said that is because if we notify them
Yep.
till next Tuesday.
Right,
because
no.
What the holidays coming up.
Sure.
Um,
No, I fully understand that. I just don't want
Don't want them
Could-
to get.
there to be a trigger for someone to come in and go, well,
okay.
y'all are
Could you
willing to
amend
sell-
your motion simply to give them until September 30th?
There you go.
Yes.
I amend my motion to give them to September 30th, exclusive rights till September the 30th. Thank you,
Second.
Mr. McAnally.
Seconded, third, fourth.
Seconded again.
Ms. Taylor,
4.
Mr. Hill,
4.
and Ms.
The resolution is not, I don't think the resolution is approved. This is just a motion to give them first right of refusal through September 30th.
Yeah. So the resolution would still need to go on a future agenda item pending that they are able to raise the funds. I
And-
guess that council would agree to
And make a formal, yeah.
and make a formal offer.
Correct.
Ms. Glover, I want to make sure that you're clear. Do you need us to repeat that again?
Nothing's happening to the
Nothing
resolution yet.
At
Yeah.
this time. If-
She's like, that's all I need to know. They'll have to, I guess, after their fundraising efforts, they'll have to come forward with a formal offer and then we would approve the resolution. Yep.
Correct.
I'm trying to get there. Mr. McAnally,
4.
thank you.
Did you vote?
Motion carries. Agenda item number 19, resolution 1461, setting the rates and rules for the use of the convention center on East Branch.
Mayor, I don't think we ever got anything, not that I asked staff, but I don't think that we got any of the information from the staff.
We did.
We've got some of that information. Me and Ms. Taylor also sat down with Perla Aguilar, who does a lot of events, to get some of her recommendations. However, I've not been able to put that all packaged together in a presentable manner at the
Okay.
moment. So if we could table, I'd be okay with that.
Could you, when would you have it, the next city council?
We should be able to have it by the next city council meeting.
I'd like to ask that this be tabled until the next city council meeting. I think
Second.
July 6th.
Ms. Newendorf,
4.
Ms. Taylor,
4.
and Ms.
4.
Carries. Skip down to 21 now. Approving ordinance number 23-712-15, amending chapter 46 of the Code of Ordinance to allow pole signs along certain streets in the city of Brookshire. Ms. Newendorf.
Yes, so this was, I guess, spurred out of the recommendation made by Mr. Pruitt whenever we had O'Reilly Auto Parts that was in here requesting a variance, and it was recommended that we should probably just look at an ordinance amendment so we didn't have this repeated problem. I guess, the memo or something like that was passed down to us. I don't see any problem with some of the recommendations that they have there for the suggested amendments, but that was why I suggested it, was so we don't have to have variance after variance after variance come before council, especially on an area that we're trying to more or less deem as high-traffic retail around the freeway.
But it's still no longer allowing pole signs on Highway 90, is that correct? Because I've not read the ordinance, I apologize.
Correct. No, it was, I believe whenever I presented it, I had suggested that it was only along 359 from
I-10 north,
I-10.
and south, I'm sorry.
Yes, I think I said like I-10 south to, I don't remember what street I said. I can look back in my notes.
It's on both sides, right? So it's like,
I think I said I-10 north to like South Street, and then I-10 south to, I don't remember.
whatever's on the other
Yeah.
side.
13th Street is the last street.
I'm sorry.
13th Street is the last street.
I didn't think we went that far down, but
Yeah.
it was like to the end of where those light industrial spaces are. I think there's like Baba brew houses in there. It was just that area. And then these recommendations start talking about the spacing of them and the sign,
12th Street.
area, 12th Street, thank you. I was like, I didn't think we said 13th, but the sign area and like it needs to be illuminated, not a continuous image, not blinking. I mean, I'm in agreement with all of those so that it doesn't look like a Vegas Strip, a very short Vegas Strip.
Other discussion?
So if council feel are comfortable with what Ardura has suggested, and by the way, what I asked them to do was just give some very basic general regulations that apply, across the board to most cities with pole signs. So that's what was given to you. There's nothing specific necessarily related to Brookshire here. So, I mean, if what they presented in their memo is fine, then what we'll do is, and it can be done through the motion you're doing now, through this ordinance. What I'll do is just get the language incorporated with what they've said, and that will be what's added to the code to allow pole signs with these regulations applied.
And to clarify on the memo, they do have what I had originally stated. So I-10 corridor between east and west city limits and FM 359 between South Street and Hovis. So not 12th Street.
Yeah,
and they do have a
if you
comment that
wanna
the minimum
modify-
lot width would have to be 100 feet in order for them to even apply. So,
Yeah, if you want to modify any of the, especially the geographic area where they're going to be located or could be allowed, that's fine. We'll just make sure that that's clear whenever you make the motion so that we can get that, inside the ordinance like it needs to be.
So the one question I had in reviewing this is that we talk about, one says that the number of signs, each parcel shall place one pole sign as per this section. And then we have a requirement that they be not located within 400 feet of another pole sign. And that would prohibit certain lots then next to each other.
So
from
in
having
that case, what they would have to do would be like a combined sign on one pole so that we don't end up with all the way down.
So that's the intent. Got it.
Yes, or if they could put, like one of those, the columns where it has several businesses listed or something of that nature, but that would be where they could figure that out, I suppose. But at least the option's there and we don't have to listen to multiple variances.
So you gonna make a motion and I'll second it, Ms. Newman.
Sure. I move to approve ordinance 23-712-15 with the recommendations from Ardura as outlined in their memo provided.
Second.
You can take Ms. Taylor's, Mayor Branch.
It had you, Ms. Taylor,
4.
Mr. McAnally,
4.
and Mr. Hill.
4.
Okay, motion carries. Moving to agenda item number 22, approving ordinance number 23-713-15, amending sections 8 through 29 of the Code of Ordinance to reflect state law requiring tethering of animals. Ms. Nuremberg.
So once again, this is, and there's lots of discussion about animals and dogs within the city of Brookshire. Just reading back through some of the ordinances, because I know that leading into agenda item number 22, just notice that our ordinance was not reflective of the new state law. So just wanting to clean that up, and simply that.
Wilson?
Move to approve ordinance 23-713-15 as presented.
Second.
Ms. Taylor?
4.
Mr. McAnally?
4.
Mr. Hill?
4.
Give me 1 second. Okay, agenda item number 23, approving ordinance number 23-14-15, amending sections 8 through 93, 8 through 94, 8 through 95, or dash 95, of the Code of Ordinance, allowing veterinarians to distribute rabies tags, enforce rabies regulations.
So Mayor and Council, the reason why I had suggested this one is, once again, looking back through our ordinances, they currently read that there is a special rabies certification that is required if you have a pet within the city of Brookshire, and that tag is supposed to be obtained at city offices. I think that our staff has enough on their plate, especially with the multitude of changes that have happened in the last, 13, 14 months. And to have something like this where people have to go to a veterinarian and have their animal vaccinated, then come to City Hall and get the tag, sounds like it's easy to not comply. And I've worked in veterinary clinics before where the county or the municipality had a rule exactly the same as this, and the tags were just available at the veterinarian. We have, I think, just one veterinarian in town, and so be something to just essentially just to work towards. Let's establish that precedence, make the tags available with them. We would probably need to, I would imagine, remind our citizens of the ordinance as it stands. I would doubt that compliance is happening, myself included, I'll admit it, because I didn't realize that this was an ordinance. But then the other thing is, I mean, we've had an issue with the stray dogs. We've had issues with stray cats as well. And so this is just another way to try to help curb some of this, I guess.
Would the veterinarian be collecting a fee that would be returned to the city?
So the way that the ordinance reads, it is not descript as to whether or not a fee is currently being charged for it. So it does not define a fee. So the clinics that I have worked at in the past where there was a separate rabies tag separate from the state rabies tag, I've worked in one where there was no fee. You just got one issued. You're like, oh, where do you live? You're within these boundaries. Okay, you need this one as well. And then I've worked in other clinics where there was a fee that was associated to it. So to me, I feel like that would probably be either a separate ordinance or maybe another amendment to this one, maybe discussion for a later time. But the way that the current ordinance reads, there is not a fee associated with it. So if anybody else knows differently, please.
894 specifically mentions a fee.
894?
Yeah, section 8-94, fees and tags. The city secretary should collect an annual licensing registration fee. Is that only for licenses then, not for the rabies tag?
So that's, okay, so that's where that needs to be clarified. Because a licensing fee to me is different than a rabies tag.
Right, because then it goes on to say a license shall be issued by the city secretary or any veterinarian registered to the city.
Right.
So they're collecting the licensing fee?
No, well, the licensing fee, then that's how that reads. A licensing fee that a city would require would be for like somebody who's keeping an animal that they're using for breeding purposes, like something other than just either a pet purpose, or they wanted a particular license in order to have a particular breed, which I don't think our ordinances restrict any breeds. I mean,
You can't, by state law, restrict any breed.
unless
It
it's
says
rental
applications
property.
for a license must be made within 30 days after obtaining a dog or cat over 4 months of age. This requirement will not apply to non-residents who are no longer than 60 days. New residents must apply for a license within 30 days of establishing residency. It doesn't mention specifically a breeding or
Nellie,
anything.
if it helps your feelings any at all, I've been on city council since 2008. We've never had anybody to be able to enforce that, anybody to even bring it back up. It's wrote like some more of our ordinances, and right now we have no dog catcher. I'm in total agreement that people should get rabies in case you come to my house and my dog bites you. But once again, our city staff is, they're too full. There's too much stuff going on. That's why we've tried to alleviate payroll. We're working on trying to get taxes collected by the county. I don't think we've ever got that email back if that's something that we could do. I mean, to get somebody, we can't even get people to do right by their dogs. I mean, they leave them out in the heat. they're on logging chains.
My
They have no
question
shelter, no water.
isn't about enforcement of licensing. My question is, it comes back to, because this mentions a fee, and if there's going to be a fee, as established by the city council and listed on the applicable fee schedule, who would collect that fee? City staff or the veterinarian? That's simply my question for rabies.
So Councilman McAnally and everybody, this is another part of that I recognized in this provision too, these three provisions. So I think the context for Councilwoman Neuendorf's suggested changes were more about bringing up allowing veterinarians to issue these licenses, which is fine. That's the context of what this ordinance is about, this ordinance amendment. I think that what we're talking about now is something that we need to talk about, because you have fees mentioned all over the place, not just in this part, but all over your code of ordinances.
But it's not defined.
And, you know, they're commonly suggested, or they'll say something like a fee, you know, on the schedule kept at the city secretary's office. Well, not just here, but all over. It's happened so many times where there's never been a fee adopted by the council, or that fee is just not there, or there's not even a schedule kept at the city secretary's office.
Right.
And so what I think we could do here is you can still approve it like this, because I think it gets you to where what we're trying to do is get the veterinarians involved with issuing these deals in the outside of city hands, not for everything, but for a lot of it. And then I think the fee schedule deal is something that we need to address in the budget cycle coming up. And so, like, as part of, and maybe one of our workshops, whatever we're doing for the budget, I think we need a comprehensive just amendment to the code in general that would take fees outside of the ordinance and put them and either we need to find this master fee schedule that's out there, or we need to create one. And then what that does for you all, is it solidifies all these fees that are mentioned here, and we can actually put numbers to those fees. And then second, if we do a master fee schedule, then instead of coming back and having to do a ordinance update every single time, what we can do is just by a simple resolution, we can, you know, amend fees if they need to be updated, you know, from time to time. And so I think the fee schedule deal is something that's really important, but I think that we can get that in the budget process.
And another thing is, Ms. Neuendorf, say that we give the veterinarian the rights, or however you say it, to give out the licensing. What if I don't take my dog to the local veterinarian? Then how are we going to get?
So in the previous clinics where that has happened, we were essentially just a place for somebody to come by, and they would just document themselves as a client. They had to present their vaccination records, and then they would just essentially enter in the vaccination records, type in City of Brookshire rabies tag, and issue them a tag, but at least there's a record of it.
So before we adopt this, don't you think that we ought to sort of give a heads up to the Brookshire Small Animal Clinic?
Sure.
This is something we're thinking about doing.
Sure. I mean, I'm here to say that it's common practice. Veterinarians are required by law to comply with the ordinances in which the municipalities and the counties that they practice, so.
Motion.
Is there any? What?
I'd like to see us table this until we can get some further clarification, rather than making changes now and making changes again later.
Sure. I move to table ordinance 23-74-15.
Second.
I thought you was making it.
Well, I did, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you were just making the
No, I
request
was
or the actual
saying we should
motion.
table it, sorry.
Sorry,
Yes.
you can have it and I'll second it.
Okay.
Got it. Ms. Taylor.
4.
Mr. Hill.
4.
Or
Okay, agenda item number 24, approving ordinance 23-715-15. Sending to annexation of certain property by the Brookshire Municipal Water District.
Contested. Is that word supposed to be contested?
What?
So Mayor and Council, this is just an administrative thing that we have to do since the city of Brookshire city limits and the Brookshire Municipal Water District boundaries match. Anytime that we annex a property, if that property is going to be served by the water district, they have to be annexed by the water district too. And so this is the formal thing where, and I can't remember off the top of my head the exact property. I think it's property north of the city limits now, a property that we annexed by development agreement recently. They need water from the water district. In order to get that, they have to be annexed. So that's what this thing does. And so it'll allow that property to get water service from the water district.
I thought they was doing their own mud.
I thought they were, is this for the residential development?
I thought that they
I
were
don't think
doing.
so. I think it's a commercial development. I think it might be the O&O, something like, not O&O, like OLO or something like that. It's like the auto, I think, and I may be wrong, but I think it's the auto repair
Oh,
that's up there north of the city limits now.
This is 21.379 acres of property.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. An OLO or something like that was the name of the property. I could be wrong, but I know that's something that we recently approved some plattings for, and they had I think the idea is they have like a like an automobile refurbishment kind of setup.
Yeah, they bought it from, I think it's on the corner of 362 and Stella. Where they was gonna come, restore automobiles, right?
I thought they had I thought the automobile restoration was like a 7-acre parcel of land somewhere south of I-10.
No, it's north. I didn't think it was 21 acres, so.
That's, well,
It's
yeah,
21.
north or south, I thought it was like 7 acres.
Should be 362.
Yep.
Yeah, this mentions it being east of Farm to Market Highway to an iron pin on the southwest corner of the John Harrison tract.
Yeah, that's not a meets and bounds description that would be, anyway.
Justin, is there any statutory requirement that we approve this tonight, or can it be tabled until we have clarity of the actual property?
That was my
I
concern.
mean, it's just no, there's no statutory requirement for it. I mean, on their end, if the water district, which they haven't done, provided a good enough detail for us to know even what is they're doing, then, I mean, yeah, we can table it and ask them to give us more description on what it is they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, it's not going to really affect the city that much. All it is they're getting our authorization to expand their boundaries, and they have to do that because they're a district within our ETJ or city limits. So, but yeah, you can ask it to be tabled, and we can get more description from them.
And I appreciate that explanation. However, the water district recently rescinded a allocation of capacity to a current development that's within city limits. So I'm curious how they're expanding, and they're going to be able to add capacity for
21 acres.
21 acres that they've now caused another developer to have to re-engineer an entire project. So my motion would be to table until we get further clarity. So table ordinance 23-715-15 until the Brookshire Municipal Water District can provide us some greater clarity on the actual property.
Second.
Ms. Taylor, your vote.
4.
Mr. McAnally,
4.
Ms. Branch.
4.
The motion carries to table till next meeting. Agenda Number 25, request for future agenda items. Ms. Branch,
I have none at this time, Mayor.
Mr. Hill,
Just two, Mayor. Discussion and possible action, request for qualifications, processes for one or many engineers to complete a street project or projects using the balance of ARPA funds.
Yeah,
I can
he'll-
email it to you.
He'll email
Yeah.
that to you.
I'll email it to you.
okay, number 2.
Discussion and possible action, professional services agreement with Belial Engineering to determine proposed costs for street repairs based on the 2020 comprehensive plan proposed street repair phases.
With who?
Belial Engineering.
Spell that.
I don't even want to butcher it.
BLEYL.
There you go.
What is it?
'Cause I know how I spelled on my notes. It's not
BLEYL.
correct.
Okay.
Did you say it was
Anything
for a
else?
street?
To determine proposed costs for street repairs based on the 2020 comprehensive plan's proposed street repair phases. If you're not aware, in the comprehensive plan, there's 3 phases where they suggest we address our streets.
Okay, number 3.
I only had 2 for this time.
Mr. McAnally,
Just one proposal to set a workshop to understand and explore the ramifications of the new ETJ, laws that were just passed by the legislature in the last 48 hours.
okay. Have another one? Taylor?
None at this time.
And Ms. Norndorf.
Not at this time.
Agenda item number 26, council reports and community announcement. Start with Ms. Branch.
None, Mayor.
Mr. Hill,
None at this time, Mayor.
Mr. McAnally.
I don't want to steal Ms. Taylor's thunder, but we do have the Juneteenth celebration that comes up starting on Friday evening with an awards ceremony recognizing a number of our citizens, and then moving Saturday into a family celebration day that'll be held right out in front of City Hall.
And you're going to be the MC for that?
I am the presenter of the awards for Friday night.
All
There you
right
go.
now.
Anything else? That's it. Ms. Taylor?
I'm going to elaborate with my partner over here. Friday night will start at 6:30, and Saturday we will start at the PD, Brookshire PD. We will be leaving out for the parade at 10 o'clock. If you would like to be in the parade, please be at the Brookshire PD at 9 a.m., please. We will be leaving at 10 a.m. to go to the convention center for this Juneteenth festival.
Brown Sugar Band between 1 and 3.
We should mention that everything is free to the public, so.
Yes,
um,
except for the vendors like food
Right,
and
right,
stuff.
right, right.
Ms. Newendorf?
None at this time.
Go back in executive session.
There's one item that,
We are.
there's one item that we have to discuss.
What happened to my last sheet? No?
Give him that last
Going
sheet.
to, never mind, I got use this other one. We going to revisit, agenda item number 27, executive session.
Time is,
Hey,
Did,
hey,
did all the rest of you receive a huge packet of invoices, but there's nothing on the agenda?
I just discovered that.
Approving invoices?
Yeah. Oh, and I received a memo that said like, oh, by the way, I had to pay these invoices.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was going, I don't understand why
apologize. I didn't recognize
this is
it.
not on the agenda, so I was confused.
You said the bill.
charcoal, can't cut it up. That would be wrong. Scale.
Yeah.
Hmm? Okay. Just getting some paperwork lined up.
Sure.
It is now 10:13. Okay, we'll start up again with,
28 is required.
do we need to discuss anything more with executive session?
I think 28's not required, so we're going to 29.
Okay. Agenda item number 29, adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
Who was it?
me.
Miss Taylor,
4.
Mr. McAnally,
4.
and Mr. Hill.
4.
Adjourned.